this video, I'm going to be talking about 9 questions every wise lady would ask when a man is interested in her or when a man is interested in getting married to her. It's very important that you know what to ask and how to ask. The reason why many people make mistakes when they are married is because they didn't ask the right question, because the right question will breed the right answers. Of course, when you don't ask the right question, it's still the same thing as not asking questions at all. Before you get married to someone, you should be able to know who the person is and understand what you're about doing with this person. Of course, marriage is a journey and you cannot just go into marriage blindly. You can't afford to mix these questions because it's going to open you up to be sure of what you are dealing with or what you're about to begin. Marriage is a journey, and of course, you must know where you're going to, what you're going to encounter, the things you're going to see along the way. And of course, the safe landing is very important. The first question you must ask someone who comes for your hand in marriage as a woman or as a young lady is, when do you intend to wed me? Now, this question is after he must have proposed to you, not before he proposes to you. So when a man proposes to you, like official proposal, like he offers you a ring and asks you to be his wife, it is very important to ask him that question. When do you want us to kick off the journey of becoming a wife? Because it's one thing for him to ask you to be his wife, and it's another thing for you to begin the journey of becoming his wife. You know, some ladies make the mistake of becoming the wife before the wedding begins or before the marriage even starts. So it is not right to become his wife earlier before the marriage begins. Becoming his wife means that you are playing the role of the wife or the wifely duties. Like some ladies sleeping with him, cooking for him, sweeping his house, offering him everything that he needs as a husband. You know, so you should be very clear with what his intention is. Sometimes you can never tell what someone is thinking about you. Now, this doesn't mean that any man who proposes to you or some men who proposes to you are wrong. Sometimes the reason why your marriage is delayed is because you started offering wifely duties earlier before you got married. And sometimes it happens because you are not wedded early. That is why you must understand when the wedding is holding. So in a situation where your plan for wedding, plan for marriage is delayed, you could be, exposed to making the mistakes of opening yourself up to him much more than you should, which is not necessary. That is why this question is very important, because you cannot engage for so long without facing the temptation of opening up for so long. Now, what I mean here is that you have emotions, you have feelings. And of course, when you grow in relationship, the feelings become stronger and you want to engage more. You want to have an affair with this person because your body moves you to do so. So it takes high level of maturity for you to still keep your body under control as you date someone or when you are in a relationship with an opposite sex, especially when it's someone you love. And of course, when you get a proposal from a man, there is this natural feeling and trust that you begin to develop for this person, which could expose you to wanting to have something much more stronger and much more intimate with him. So to avoid such temptation, it's important to ask him, when do you intend we get married? So that you know what his plans are. It's going to help you to know how to put yourself together, when to release yourself, and when to put yourself together. So when a man says, I want to marry you, or proposes to you, after asking him when, you should be able to know what you are expecting and what you are looking out for. So that when he begins to play with you, you will also know. Because there are men who may not be interested in you for real, but they know that the only way to get you to sleep with them or to be their intimate friend or girlfriend is to propose to you, because ladies tend to get more serious with a man who proposes to them. And for you not to fall into such trap or tricks, it's important to know when, so that when you give him the rope, like when you look at him, he might say 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, then you know exactly what you're expecting and what you're looking at. You begin to prepare yourself, you begin to pattern yourself after whatever he says. That will help you to know how long you can hold on before opening up. So when you now look at him and it looks like he's joking, like he's not serious about it, then you know your next move. It's important because marriage is involved here. When marriage is involved, It's about your life. So to avoid situations where ladies complain of their time being wasted, it's important you know when he wants to get married to you, so that if he finally didn't turn up that way, or if he finally fails, you can ask him some questions and know exactly what the challenge is. Of course, it should be something you understand. And when you don't understand it, you won't end up blaming him for wasting your time. You will rather know that this is like a business, this is like a transaction, maybe it didn't work out again, and you decide to take your leave, or you decide to do something much more important with your life without wasting it. So a lot of ladies are trapped in relationship where they have proposals and, of course, unending promises of marriage and wedding, and it doesn't make sense. So don't waste your time waiting for someone you don't know when he's really ready for you, or when he's ready to tie the knot. So it's important to take your life seriously and value yourself by asking him politely, okay, you want to marry me? When are you ready for real? Like, when do you think you're ready? Whether financially or emotionally or whatever the reason might be, but you should be able to know when he wants to, do it, when he wants the wedding to hold, and when he really wants both of you to begin the marriage. That is, if you love him and you really want to, do marriage with him. Okay, the next question is, what is your source of income? Yes, this may sound rude or sound unusual, but it's important you know what his source of income is. Now, I understand the fact that when you're relating with someone, or when you're relating with a man, and you want to marry him, or he has already proposed to you, that somehow you can see him do one or two things. Maybe he's working as a bank manager, or he's a business person, a businessman, or he's just doing this or that, or a student, whatever it is he's doing. But it's not enough to assume that this is what gives him money, or this is what is actually his source of income. It's important to know, the horse's mouth is important. Some men do more than one business. So it's important to ask him, what is your source of income? Don't assume that you know what he's already doing just because you see him working this, working that, or running about this. Yes, he can be working, going to work, or doing business before you, but it's not enough to assume that this is what gives him money. So it's important to open up and ask him politely. Like these questions, it's not like you're going to sit him down and ask him, questions like you are his teacher or tutor. These are simple questions, and they are easy to do, but you need to be in the mood. Always know when to, ask these questions, because it must be when you are in the mood and when he's in the mood. So there are different occasions and different environments. It's not like you're going to ask all these questions at one time. So you should know when to drop one and when to drop the other one. So ask him what gives him money. How does he earn his living? So if he has any secret business that he's doing, he should tell you about it, so that you'll be sure of who you are dealing with. You may not necessarily go to those places. It's also important to know those places, but it's not like this is what you're getting married for, and you don't need to, behave or act so that it will be so obvious. But it's important to hear from him, as well as you see with your eyes that this is what this person is doing, because it's about your life. Don't say you're being too curious, or I don't want to put pressure on him. It's about your life. It's not just about him. So if you want to do life with him, of course, he should be proud of the fact that you are getting married to him and excited. So if he struggles with telling you what he's doing as a business, or how he earns his living, then there's a problem somewhere. He should be open enough. Boyfriends do that. Talk more of when this person wants to marry you, like want you to spend your life with him. So who you are worth spending your life with, you should know how he earns his living, because money is very important in marriage. Money is something you cannot joke with in marriage. So it's important to know if he's doing a stable business, if he has something good. Maybe you would have to help or bring a better idea, because of course you are planning marriage. So ask him what his source of income is. If it is not something you can deal with, you can begin early to talk about it, or work on it, or even decide not to marry him, maybe because of his source of income. Of course, anything that will make you to not be comfortable in your marriage, or want to break the relationship after you are married, it's better to stay away from that relationship completely early. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, I know people will be like, is it because of money that you want to marry him? Yes, if money is your issue, please stay away. If you know you cannot marry a man who doesn't have money, please don't marry him, because marrying him and leaving him broken after marriage is a cause for you. Like, it's not good. It is not right. So it's important to know exactly what he's doing before you get married to him. Choose to be with him if you like what he's doing, and be sure that it is what you're going to accept. Like, you're going to support him, you're going to be there for him. So be sure that you are comfortable with what his source of income is. If you are not, then leave early before the wedding bells. It's so important. Next question you must ask a man you want to get married to is, what are your plans for me? Very important question. You can't joke with this question. A man who is bringing you into his life must have a plan for you. A plan for you can be a picture of what you're going to be doing when you are in his life. It's very important. Before I got married to my husband, one day I was like asking him, what am I even coming into your life to do? This question, I asked it from my heart. It's not like someone told me to ask the question, but I was just thinking about the whole thing that we're about to do. We want to get married, and oh God, I was like, what am I coming into your life to do? My husband is a pastor, so I feel like, okay, if I'm coming into your life, what am I coming to give you? Because I was looking at myself, I wanted to understand how I can be a blessing to him. And in my own mind, I've already looked around. I felt like I don't have anything to give to him when I get into this marriage. I was much younger then, so I didn't know so much. I was like, what am I going to give you? Yes, we are in ministry. I'm already serving in the church. And what am I coming to give you? And he was like, wow, you have so much you have not given me yet. You've not become my queen yet. I said, wow, that's beautiful. He said, you're not yet my queen. You need to become my queen. You need to give birth to my children. You need to, he was saying a lot of things. I was like, wow, like seriously, you have all these plans for me. So if he says I'm gonna be his queen, it means that he has big plans for me. He plans to honor me, he plans to crown me queen, because it takes a king to make a queen. And that tells me a whole lot, and so many other things he talked about. And I was amazed. I think I was motivated to even want to marry him more at that point. So, but there are some guys who want to marry you. They don't know why they want to marry you. They just want to, all they know is that in marriage, you have sex, you make love, just try to understand what he's thinking about you. What is his picture about you? If all he's seeing when he comes to you or when he sees you is just the sex and the fun on bed, or the romance and the calls, or I don't know, it could be anything. So try to understand what his vision is towards you. What does it take you for? What's your value before him? So in asking him that question, what's your plan for me? It's a direct question, so he should be able to talk. If he doesn't talk about it, or he doesn't know what to say, then there's a problem right there. And if you love him so much, maybe you help him create a plan for you and see if he can accept it. But somehow it's a little bit difficult, because if he doesn't have that plan right from the inside of him, I don't know if he's going to buy into your own idea of what he should have as a plan for you. So it's important to ask this question. So if he doesn't know it, like, there are some men that are just ignorant. It's not like he doesn't love you, but he has never thought about the fact that a woman should have a life in his life, or what they're going to be doing when she finally steps into his life. And getting married to an ignorant man is like getting married to someone who still knows what to do and don't want to do it. So ignorance is not good. It's not an excuse to, why you should, get into a marriage that will mess you up. So it's important to be sure that this man has the right idea. He mustn't plan the whole world. He mustn't plan the whole world for you, but at least he should have a beautiful plan. A plan that, when you walk into his life, you're going to be better than you were before. Some men can tell you about, okay, schooling, once you get married to me, okay, you're going to be better in your this, in your that. I'm going to help you do this. I'm going to help you do that. Or, okay, we are going to run our home this way. When someone is talking like that, it means that this person has a vision, this person has a sight. He has a foresight of what you are coming in to do, that he's not just thinking about the sex and the romance and all that. So it's important to know what a man is thinking about you. The same way it's important you should have a plan for him when you're getting into marriage with him. But of course, the focus on this video is you, the woman, and what you are to ask him, the questions you are to ask him. So we are trying to study him to be sure that he is the right person. The next question is, what are your views on marriage? Very important. The same way you asked him what his plan for you is, That's the same way it's important to understand what he thinks about marriage. Now, he's not just thinking about you now, but the marriage, you and him. The marriage is both of you. You should know his view on marriage. His view is simply his perspective about marriage. What does he think marriage is? Sincerely ask him, you want to get married to me? So what are we coming to do? What is marriage to you? How do you see marriage? What do you think are the benefits of marriage? What do you also think are the disadvantages of marriage? Feel free, it's a discussion, just ask him. Then you begin to understand his concepts about marriage, because if he is not healthy when it comes to what his thoughts are about marriage, that marriage cannot be healthy. Remember, we are talking about a man who is going to be the head of the family, the head, he's going to lead you as a husband, and you are there to, lead together with him, supporting him and working together with him. But of course, that place of the head, he has taken it because of, the way it is in marriage. So understand that his view, his perspective is what you're going to be seeing when you're married to him. He's going to be acting it out. He's not going to hide it. So ask him his view about marriage. What does he think about marriage? Many people borrow the concept of marriage from their families. Some people borrow it from what they see. Some people also borrow it from the scriptures, from the Bible. So when he starts talking about his view about marriage or his view concerning marriage, that helps you to know what you're about to go into, what you should expect from this person, what he thinks about marriage. So that would help you to also know if you can agree with him, because you have to, bring your own view, your own concept about marriage, and look at both of them and see if it aligns. This, I believe, are the things people should look at before they, begin this journey of marriage, because marriage sometimes can come with trials. And when your perspective about marriage is different and his is different, of course, it's part of the things that actually breeds problem and issues in marriage, and you wouldn't want to have that experience. So you must learn to strategically ask these questions. It's for your good, it's for your benefit. So let's jump down to the next question that is so important. Ask him what he thinks are the role of the woman and the man in marriage. Now you're coming to do marriage together, and of course, you have your role. He has his role. There is always a role to play as a woman, and you are going to have to experience his role as the man. So ask him what he thinks about the roles, because when you know what someone expects from you, you will be in a better position to give them the best of you. Some of the issues people have in marriage is that they don't know what is expected, like what their partner is expecting from them. So if you know that your partner prefers you to be on heels, and he feels more comfortable with that, of course you should be able to adjust. Marriage is about adjustment. You don't marry to just be yourself, to just do your thing, to just play your games. Once you are married, you are ready to exchange, yourself, to just keep adjusting so that you give the other person the room to enjoy you, to experience you. That is what marriage is about. You must not necessarily ask them, okay, what do you think I should be doing for you in the marriage? No, just put it this way. What do you think is the role of a woman and the role of a man? So he should talk about the woman and he should talk about the man. You see, it's a clear discussion. So let him talk about it. What does he think the woman should be doing in marriage? What does he think the man should be doing in marriage? Now, this is going to help you to understand his concept, his own idea. And of course, two cannot work together except they agree. What will happen then is that you can begin to shape his perspective about marriage, because when you are with this person, you are trying to build something together. So as he brings in his own ideas about the role of a woman and the role of a man, you can change the perspective. You can not just change it, you can chip in to bring balance, because it is the both of you that is about to get married, and you have to also share your own view and see if your thoughts and your ideas agree. If it doesn't agree, then begin early to move away from him, because it's never going to work. The next question is, what are your feelings about children? What are your thoughts about children? I know this question, it hardly comes up, because everybody believes that in marriage you must have children, you must have kids. After the wedding, the next invitation would be for childbirth, delivery, and celebration, which is also a beautiful thing. But it's important to ask him his thoughts about children. Some men would want you to have many kids, while you may not want to have much. You may want to have just few kids, maybe one or two. And in some situation, you may have another plan of the number of children you want, and he has a different thing altogether. Actually, this in some marriages has been an issue: childbirth, number of children, and all that. So you wouldn't want to have a man who doesn't want a baby at all. There are men like that. They don't want a baby, they just want to be fine, or maybe they want to have kids after 5 years, 10 years, or let's say, okay, let me be considerate, like after 3 years. And you may not want to deal with that emotional trauma and what is going to take you through. So be sure that both of you agree on how to give birth to your children, the number of kids you want, and how it's going to make everything easy when you get into the marriage. What does it consider cheating in a relationship? Now, cheating means different things to different people. I have a video on infidelity and cheating stories. You may want to see that video because it's going to tell you different ways that people perceive cheating or what people call cheating. To everyone, cheating is just different things. Some people call it sleeping or having sex with someone else, while some people call it another thing. So it's important to know that it means different things. Okay, so you try as much as possible to ask him, what does cheating mean to you? Some marriage, like I know a marriage that is no longer together just because some friends visited the woman at home when the man wasn't around. It was just a visit, nothing ever happened. But of course, that was a cheating for him. And you can go ahead and ask him what he thinks about cheating, how you relating with people and all that. So there's just a whole lot. Just see my video on infidelity and cheating stories. You're going to learn a whole lot about this. Number 8, the question is very, very important, and not just important, it's mostly for believers or Christians. So you're going to ask him, are you a nice guy or a Christian? It's so important. So some guys are nice, but they are not Christian. There's a different thing between getting married to a nice guy, very good guy, but he's not a Christian. He's not a believer. So don't misinterpret uh, someone's goodness or good attitude or niceness, if there's any word like that, to mean that he's a Christian. So Christianity is about faith. Christianity is about salvation. Is totally different from someone who has a good character. So ask him if he's a nice guy or a Christian. So be able to differentiate whether he's just being nice, he's good, because some people who are not Christians are very nice and they are very good. So be sure of what you are going into and what you are dealing with. So if he's too nice and he's not a Christian, then you can determine what you want. And if he's a Christian and still nice, that's beautiful, that is perfect. Finally, number 9 is ask him this question: at what point will you give up on your wife? Tricky question, but very important. Now, it's more like you're asking him what his boundaries are. Even in marriage, people have boundaries. Spouses, I have my boundary, my husband has his, so I know his boundaries and he knows mine. And we respect that. That's how we are able to work together. We don't work together because we are perfect people, but we understand ourselves, we understand our boundaries, we understand what works for us and what doesn't work, and we respect that. So you ask him, at what point will you give up on your wife? Like, what is that thing that you can't take from her, you can't deal with? Some men might not deal with a wife who cannot cook, and of course, if he opens up to you, you learn early and begin to know what you're expecting. So some men cannot deal with a wife who is not this and not that. It's important to know. So don't just jump into a relationship without asking these important questions. These are questions that wise ladies ask in relationship, and you cannot afford to miss this question. So it's about your life, it's about your destiny, it's about your future. Marriage is about your life. So these questions are important. So in order to know what to say and how to say it, go over this video again. You can write these questions down and practice how you're going to do it. And remember that you are not asking him a jam question, exam question. So you have to use your head when you are asking such questions. Be smart about it and be sincere. Of course, is for good. And I believe that when you get to know these answers, they're going to help you to adjust, very well and prepare for a beautiful home, a more excellent home that is going to impact your life very well. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is